live after, I guess, 2 weeks.
What means I guess?
We weren't live last week, were we?
Think so.
As you guys can tell, I'm live from a different location. I'm not in my bedroom anymore. Um,
Here you go.
huh?
Not in the
Oh,
living
I'm
room.
not in my living room.
Idiot.
Idiot. But actually, topic for today's live is what happened in India a few days ago. Really heartbreaking, tragic. I don't have words to express my sadness on what happened. Pretty much everybody died in that airplane except for one person. That sounds like a miracle to me. Do you know one person survived that plane crash?
I have learned in Facebook that back in 1941, same thing happened, and the person that was saved was in 11A or 11B.
Seat 11A.
Yeah, and his first name initial is R. It happened in Korea, I guess, some Asian country, and it happened back in now. So they're like kind of, I don't know, the
History. My mom was showing me a video right now about saying that everything that happened in 1941 is repeating this year. And
That's the one.
and everything that happened in 2019 happened in 1918 or something.
What
So
happened in 2019?
COVID and all that, like in 2020, early 2020.
Okay.
That time there was some other disease, and I mean, I don't know.
Ebola.
No, that time it was some Spanish flu or something, some weird disease. But I don't know. I don't really buy that. I think it's just coincidence, and once things happen, when you look at things in retrospect, it's easy to say this happened or that happened. But if you have to make a prediction, that's when the difficult thing starts. But circling back to what happened in Ahmedabad, it's a terrible, terrible thing. This 787 going down, ridiculous. I saw the videos. I'm sure you guys saw the videos too. They're all over the internet. You see the plane take off, and uh, in about 30 seconds or so, it starts to lose altitude and hits the floor. And sadly, it hits a hospital hostel. So there were people eating food there, and all of a sudden they saw an airplane basically on them. That's crazy, right? Who would have thought something like that could happen? But if you guys have seen the video, you see the plane lifting off properly, which means at the time of takeoff, the engines were okay. Have you seen the video?
Yeah.
Because if the engines were bad, the plane wouldn't have taken off or wouldn't have gotten to the speed where at which the pilots decided to rotate. When I say rotate, I mean go from ground to air. The term is called rotate. There are some technical terms in aviation. There's a term called V1. V1 is the speed at which the pilots can no longer abort their takeoff. So if they hit V1, which means they have to leave the ground no matter what. So they did hit V1. Was in charge, whoever was flying, pulled the control column towards them, lifted the nose up. Hi, bit by bit adventures. Uh, so yeah, pulled the control columns. The plane uh, got some air, but after a bit, we saw it just went down. What are you talking about? I'm talking about a plane crash that happened in India a few days ago. It was a Indian
Oh.
Airlines Boeing 787 Dreamliner, state of the art, as they say, which went down. But Boeing has had its own issues, by the way. If you guys follow Boeing, then you will know Boeing has had its issues. They've had some whistleblowers screwed up, and when they went to jail after that. Um, and some issues that came out of that discussion were workmanship. Certain Boeing factories were uh, accused of not doing the workmanship as per Boeing standards or as per FAA standards. So there's one theory that the aircraft itself was bad, but the airframe seemed okay. I don't think there was any workmanship issue with the airframe. It seemed more of an engine issue because the last words from the pilot said losing thrust, mayday, mayday, mayday. These were the last words of the pilot before we heard radio silence, and of course we saw what happened.
What does losing trust mean?
Losing thrust means losing power.
Oh. So like they're not, the gear is not getting food or fuel.
No, not gear. Thrust is basically power that engine generates.
Okay.
So, like the way we have gas in our cars, airplanes have a throttle.
Mm.
And you push the throttle all the way, engines are expected to perform at about 95%.
Mm.
And even at 95%, this plane wasn't able to take off. Now there will be more information coming out once the black box data is revealed. Black boxes have been found. You guys already know it. Two types of black boxes: cockpit voice recorder, flight data recorder. We'll be interested in the flight data recorder information to see how the engines were performing when they were pushing the throttle all the way down. Full throttle, engines are expected to perform and lift off. Even if one engine goes bad, these engines are really good. They even one engine can take care of the airplane. Finish the takeoff. They could have turned around and they could have landed. But in this case, it seems like both engines failed. There are several theories to it. Some people think engines have failed. Some people think it is a pilot error, and co-pilot when they were trying to pull the gears back up, they accidentally changed the flap position, which is, in my opinion, unlikely. But we will find out as more information comes out. Uh, of course, the other theory is a bird strike. They got a bird strike, and both engines flamed out, which again seems unlikely,
What
especially
happened in the Henderson?
that happened at the Hudson River.
Hudson,
Yeah,
yeah.
U.S. Airways Hudson River. It's a very popular one. If you guys are into aviation, you will know what I'm talking about. Um, but bird strike again seems unlikely, and I'll tell you why. If you look at the video, the plane takes off normally. You don't see any flames coming out of the engine. So usually, if a bird US Airways, I'm scared. Yeah, check it out. It was incredible work from the captain. Nobody died in that plane crash.
I think there's a movie too called Sully, Sully.
Sully?
Yeah.
I've not watched it, but I watched the documentary on Nat Geo or something. But if there were birds in the engine, hitting the engine, you should have seen some flames coming out on the other side as these birds were getting chopped in the jet engine. So bird strike is out of the way. Engine failure. uh, Engine failure is the most probable cause here because I don't think there was any pilot error. There could be a pilot error. If you guys know, whenever a pilot takes off, before they take off, they have to do some math based on how many people are in the airplane, how much cargo is loaded. They have to get approximate weight of the airplane and then do the math based on, excuse me, based on the weight. They decide at what distance or at what speed are they going to take off, how much runway will they need to attain that speed. If they did the math wrong, let's say the plane was much heavier than what they did in the cockpit, then basically what happens is they think we need x miles per hour speed to take off. If they don't hit it, they pull the control column before they hit the right speed, then the plane may take off. But the other possibility is if they pull it too soon, then they get something called the tail strike. So the plane's nose goes up, but the speed isn't fast enough, so the plane won't take off. And the rear of the plane, like it goes like that, and it kind of strikes the runway as it takes off. We didn't see any of that, which means pilot did their math correctly.
There was a documentary we watched on that too, right? Like
on.
they didn't place the cargo plane correctly, or it was
Yeah,
loose.
yeah,
And as soon as it took place and the boxes started to move and the plane
I
just,
mean, just dipped.
yeah.
Yeah, that is also a possibility. We don't know that yet, but a lot of information will come out once we have flight data recorder information. I know people from the US, NTSB, are in India now helping India's
Investigate.
DGCA, right? Directorate General of Civil Aviation, yeah, to investigate. And US has the right to investigate even if India turns down because US is the manufacturer of the airplane. Boeing is the manufacturer. UK has the right to do their own investigation independently in India because UK citizens died in that airplane and they have the right to decline whatever India says and do their own investigation.
Mm. And then in the so
And
three
of course,
different,
India. Yeah.
three different.
There may be three different agencies doing their own investigations. And I hope they all come to the same conclusion. But a lot of times we have seen three different answers from three different agencies.
And how
And
long it might take?
investigations may take anywhere from, a few months to
Years,
years.
huh? Because I know some old videos that we were watching that it didn't got resolved like
Yeah.
couple of years late, like recently.
But this is a very high profile investigation. It has gotten a lot of media attention, a
I
lot
think
of
that's the
political and
benefit
international attention.
nowadays. Like
Yeah.
people knew about it right away.
Yeah. Hey Ezra, what's up? How you doing? You change your profile picture now? What is that? Is that a girl now, Ezra?
I think that's his girlfriend.
Is that your girlfriend or what? Ezra, did you hear about the plane crash in India? The one that we are talking about? Oh, that's your girlfriend. Yeah, I can barely see her because it's like a tiny dot.
She's
But
really cute. I saw her.
okay, my wife says she is really cute. She saw her. Funnu
But this year has
Kalita
been
said hi.
so horrible, huh?
Yeah,
Like ever since this year started, there was so many plane that was crashing.
this year started with a terrible plane crash on the east in Washington D.C.
Yeah,
That was a mid-air collision with a, I don't know what airline it was, but
and
it
helicopter.
it, it collided with the military helicopter. Yeah, that was crazy.
And then we hear like a few weeks after there was another incident that happened in Arizona, I guess.
Arizona?
I might be wrong, but it happened somewhere. It happened again.
Yeah, planes have been dropping out of the sky. I don't know why though. I think during COVID, all these airlines basically lost money, and I think this is their way.
They are
Yeah.
overriding the planes now.
I think they've cut down expenses and they've cut down money that
Fuel.
they spend on the maintenance.
Mm.
So there's less engineers working. And
But I mean, accident like this happen. I mean, they can go bankrupt and they can shut down.
that's true, but they don't anticipate it in the board meetings, right? Board meetings are strictly money.
How to say they'll
Yeah.
make money?
Yeah, because they have these airplanes insured, and every passenger is insured. So if it drops, the airline will get the money from the insurance. I would assume. And if there's anybody from the airline industry watching, correct me if I'm wrong. Farhad Jamal says hi, nice morning, Farhad. It's actually night for me. It's it's quarter to 10 for me.
Some people might not know what does that mean.
Quarter to 10.
Yeah, it's like
15
9:45.
minutes. Yeah, 9:45. Let's put it that way. 9:45. Ezra says, I'll be in the stream, but I'm going to do something. What are you doing, Ezra? So, as I said, yeah, at the moment we have three possible theories: a pilot error,
Engine failure.
dual engine failure, uh, and of course in that engine failure category there are subcategories like why did it fail, did pilots lose control, or was the fuel bad quality or something.
Oh, somebody was saying that the fuel tank was closed from our side.
Yeah, I mean, we are getting a lot of messages on WhatsApp and Facebook and this and that. I wouldn't necessarily believe all of that. Everybody on a personal level is doing doing an own investigation, and by the end of next week or so, we will have 35 million theories and
Possibilities for
yeah,
that. So
and whichever makes the most sense to you, just believe it, I
I
guess.
think out of this crash, there were two survivors. There was one girl who was sleeping at the hostel.
Hostel.
She got survived, and the passenger that was on seat number 11A. But how lucky
See,
is he?
see, what I would call survivor is somebody who was on the airplane.
So there's only one.
In my opinion, I would only call one survivor because the girl who was sleeping in the room and did not come to the mess for lunch or dinner or lunch, whatever, when the plane hit. She wasn't on site, so I mean, there may be 20 other people who applied to that college and never got admission, and thus they were not in the mess, and thus they are survivors then.
No, but I mean that hostel was close in. I mean, it in the same building, because what she did, she took the pillow, wrapped herself, and then tried to get out of because the whole room, I mean,
Okay.
hostel was
Oh,
full
that
of
way.
smoke.
That way. Okay. Now then it makes sense.
So future 50 we are short in 50 doctors. They might
Yeah.
have graduated in next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. But a terrible thing should never have happened. These airplanes go through regular maintenance checks, and a dual engine failure is pretty much unexpected.
I mean, you never know. It could be anyone. I think there's lots of people died, like a travel vlogger died, like
Gujarat's ex chief minister died.
CM.
Yeah.
Don't you think it can be like a thing to kill him?
You mean a conspiracy?
Yes.
It's unlikely because,
He was ex.
yeah, I mean, unlikely in the sense that these airplanes are very highly protected. Of course, there'll be investigation on those lines, and I may stand corrected if something like that pops up. But looking at what we are seeing and what we know so far, it is looking unlikely that it was a, you know, human act.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Anybody thinks here that the plane crash happened in India was a conspiracy against India by some of its enemies? And does anybody believe
Cause,
that theory?
cause it's not even. I mean, don't take me wrong, but it's not even a month when there was a big war. I mean, small war going between
India and Pakistan?
Pakistan and India.
Yeah, there was that war. I got some messages on WhatsApp that said Pakistan did this and that, but I don't buy those explanations. And I may, of course, as I said, I may stand corrected at any moment as soon as we have some information coming out. But as of right now, it is looking like a dual engine failure. It could be due to any reason. We don't know that yet. And oh, by the way, I saw one video when the plane was taking off. I saw that backup power plane propeller outside. I kind of heard it. It sounded like a prop airplane to me, and that told me the engines were down. The automatic backup power propeller that provides power to your hydraulics, and it helps you control the plane. It doesn't give you thrust. All it gives you is your bare minimum hydraulics. Some systems, some screens in front of you will give you data. You will be able to use your rudder, move left and right, and maneuver the plane, but you won't be able to get thrust out of it. So think of it like a glider which has controls to move left and right. That's all. That's all it does. And I saw and heard it. That tells me engines were off. They were flamed out. We don't know why. Uh, the NTSB and the DGCA investigation teams are actively looking at black boxes data to find out why exactly did the engines flame out. But I think pilot error is ruled out as of right now. and whatever other theories we are hearing, they are not making sense to me.
So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, if it's like, for instance, a pirate era,
Uh-huh.
so all the costs and everything, like all the sue, if somebody does, it goes on pilot's family or
No,
still goes on the
no,
company?
pilot is dead.
Okay.
But it cannot. So if it happens due to a pilot error, there are consequences to it. Pilot may get jail time as well if it was an obvious error.
Okay.
The pilot that miraculously landed that airplane in Hudson River
Hmm.
and saved everybody was initially sued for a lot of money and jail time
Why is that?
because he traumatized everybody while landing the airplane in a river.
But wasn't it the
And
safest thing to do?
yes, but that time it wasn't believed that the engines failed.
Okay. So they just took an action, but the investigation was still going on.
Yeah,
So did pilot sue the company
pilot
for
didn't
all the
sue.
trauma?
No, pilot didn't sue anybody. Pilot just defended himself and he won the case. And of course, he got a president's medal and this and that, and now he's a superstar. But there were a lot of attempts made to make him the villain of everything.
I mean, most probably the plane, the big man would want to get off their name, like the CEO of the
Possibly,
company.
possibly. That's a possibility.
It's so easy, just blame the pilot. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, and then there was another theory that came out
What?
on this Air India plane crash that the pilots did not set their flaps correctly. At the time of takeoff, flaps have to be extended
Hmm.
so that the wingspan increases and it gets more lift.
Okay.
If the flaps aren't set correctly, then you may see similar issues. But that theory is also ruled out right now.
Anything regarding pilot is ruled out
Anything
so
regarding?
far.
Yes, yes. But again, flight data recorder will give us all that information. Right now, we are just, presuming based on what we know and what we have seen in the videos. And from the distance that we are seeing the videos, it's really hard to tell if the flaps were extended or not. But let's say if the flaps weren't extended, we shouldn't have seen whatever lift we saw at the time of takeoff. Because the plane did take off. It went to what, 50, 70 feet, I think.
Because if the flag was not, it would have gone up and bounced back again, no? Or it would have gone up.
If the flaps weren't set correctly, the plane wouldn't have left the ground, period.
Okay.
It would have crashed immediately after crossing the runway. But yeah, we will have plenty of theories coming out until we get the official reports from these investigation agencies. Once these reports are out, then we will have to choose, which agency to believe. Agency from the US, anti-SB, will try to, somehow protect Boeing and give us a report that says Boeing was all good and it was something else that happened. India will try to protect their pilots, and they would not want to prove that,
I
hey,
think I
our
would believe the UK one because they will be fighting for their citizen.
yeah, UK's investigation will be less biased, but again there is Airbus, right? Airbus is a France-based company which is in Europe, and UK is also part of Europe, and UK may try to, hit it on Boeing and somehow help Airbus increase their sales.
Mm. Oh yeah, they are the competition, huh?
Yeah, but I don't know what relation UK shares with France, and will UK do an investigation that helps France? I don't know that. These are all assumptions. India will do its investigation, but I would assume they would try to somehow protect the pilots and prove that their pilots did not make any mistake and they were following the textbook, and it was just the plane that malfunctioned. Uh, but here is the interesting part. Although Boeing makes these airplanes, Boeing doesn't make airplane engines. Boeing makes the airframe and whatever they put the engine on the aircraft, but these engines are separately made. Two major companies that make these airplanes are Rolls-Royce and GE Electricals. I think these ones had GE engines. The Boeing 787s have GE engines. I think there are versions that have Rolls-Royce engines as well. I'm not sure, but I think this Air India one had twin GE engines on them. Uh, so even if the blame falls on Boeing, they could easily pass it on to GE
The engine.
and to the engine manufacturer if it's proven that engines failed.
Okay.
Because engines go through very rigorous testing. They even go through water flame outs. Jet sprays of water are thrown on at engines for long hours to make sure it doesn't flame out in rain or in any condition where there's a lot of water going to the engine. Then to avoid bird strike, these things go through a lot of testing where they throw dead animals at the engine.
So it kind of
Heavy ones, yes.
okay.
And the planes are expected, I mean, the engines are expected to, split the animal apart and keep doing. Yeah. Because bird strikes are pretty common. You will see bird strikes happening frequently.
Hmm.
The engines don't fail if there's one or two or four or five birds hitting it.
It has to be like bunch of birds.
Yes, it has to be a lot of birds on both engines and
At the same time.
at the same time. But what happens is engines are sucking air from outside and throwing it at the back, right?
Yeah.
So if the birds are anywhere in the close area of the engine, they are automatically getting sucked in the engine.
Hmm.
Have you seen a video where one uh, person was sucked into the engine?
No.
And he died? Engine was on and he was, I think, a ground staff person who did not know the engine was on. He went close to the engine and he got sucked, immediately chopped and shredded. Nothing was ever found. He was just chopped. That's it.
But they found out which man was that?
Yeah, of course they knew who was working. CCTV cameras showed who was that person working there.
And when was this?
I don't know. I don't know when did that happen. But let me look that video up, guys. I'll show you that video. Hold on one second. Let me find it. But it's a traumatizing video.
I want to say most people you might have showed me. Especially sitting in an airport.
Let's see if I can find it here. Man dies after being sucked into the plane engine. The following content may contain graphic or violent imagery. Guys, this warning is for you as well because I'm going to show that video of what happened here. Okay, hold on. I have to disconnect my charger so I can show you. Are you guys able to see it? Okay, my wife is also trying to see. Hold on, I'm just going to show her separately.
Oh, what? It just in and out.
Yep. Matter of seconds.
Wow.
This is faster than the conveyor belt on which chicken are chopped.
I think even like it was faster than you breathe in and breathe
Yeah.
out.
That guy didn't even realize what happened and he was just dead like immediately.
I hope the family got something.
I hope so too. Like an idiot, he. Oh, bro, that looks like a tampered video. Why do you say that?
This accident video illustrates the perils that the deck crews face. When a crewman forgets to duck as he passes in front of the jet's engine, the power is enough to suck him into the intake.
Oh wait, there's another one. You want to
Miraculously, the
see it
crew
again?
members
Hold on,
pulled
okay, I'll
through
show it to you
and
again.
survived.
The following content may contain graphic or violent stuff. Okay, here you are. Oh wait, let me. Okay, let's start over. That doesn't seem real.
Which year was that uploaded?
Got sucked into a jet engine while working on a plane on the 3rd of July
It doesn't say what
2024.
year.
The incident started when he was doing
No way is
routine
that
maintenance work on a Boeing
real.
737 plane.
That happens, man. That happens.
Have you ever wondered what would happen?
Okay, there's another one. This was.
This accident video
Check this out.
illustrates the perils that the deck crews face.
This is not clear
When
because
a
I think this is
crewman
from a
forgets to
thermal
duck
camera.
as he passes in front of the jet's engine, the power is enough to suck him into the intake. Miraculously, the crew member is pulled free and survives with only minor injuries.
What do you think of this one?
If you're watching this video, it's because you love
Yeah, this looks real. Hey, there's another one. Women sucked into jet engine. Oh no, this doesn't seem real to me. This looks like this is some kind of game.
With AI these days.
Okay, this is from New York Post. So this has to be real. Let's see what it says. Final moments of a passenger who died after climbing into Delta Airlines plane engine. But they don't really show this passenger going in the engine. Okay, there's something from India TV. What does that say? Okay. Air technician sucked into a plane engine at Mumbai airport.
बड़ी खबर मुंबई से जहां कल रात छत्रपति शिवाजी डोमेस्टिक एयरपोर्ट पर इंजन में फंसकर एक एयरपोर्ट कर्मचारी की मौत हो गई। हादसा रात करीब 8:40 पर हुआ। इस हादसे में मारे गए टेक्नीशियन स्टाफ का नाम रवि सुब्रमण्यम है। एयर इंडिया प्रशासन के मुताबिक विमान के को पायलट ने ग्राउंड स्टाफ के एक संकेत को गलती से इंजन चालू करने का संकेत समझा। को पायलट के इंजन चालू करते ही पास में खड़ा टेक्नीशियन रवि सुब्रमण्यम उसमें खिंचा चला गया। मौके पर मौजूद लोग जब तक सुब्रमण्यम को बचाने पहुंचे तब तक इंजन में फंसकर उसके छिथड़े हो चुके थे। मुंबई के छत्रपति हवाई अड्डे से एयर
This
इंडिया
was
का
Air
विमान
India too.
AI सिक्स
Yeah.
वन नाइन हैदराबाद के लिए उड़ान भरने की तैयारी में था। इस हादसे के बाद विमान की उड़ान को रद्द किया गया। केंद्रीय उड्डयन राज्य मंत्री महेश शर्मा ने मुंबई एयरपोर्ट हादसे पर दुख जताया।
So basically translate them to the no.
और वो टेक्नीशियन
Basically, technician again Air India. I don't know what's wrong with Air India. A technician was sucked at Mumbai airport. Uh, the reporter mentioned that the pilot was given some signal from the technician, which the pilot interpreted as turn the engine on signal, which he did. Of course, it was meant something else. I don't know who made the mistake, but that's what happened. And these things do happen. Accidents do happen, and that's why there are protocols on engines being shut off completely before anybody goes any close to the engines. Uh, Engines are guided from a distance. Airplanes are guided from a far distance. They have these stakes or whatever with lights on them. That's how. Okay, so it says these. Oh no, this is just an old message. So yeah, guys, that's what
So now
happened.
I know the purpose of people standing and guiding.
Yeah. never go close to a jet engine because it's sucking air like crazy,
Like a vacuum.
like a vacuum.
Hmm. Good to know information for my brain.
But having said that, that's all we had for today. Thank you everyone for joining this live. I mean, let me put it that way. That's all I had for the airline incident. Of course, I'm heartbroken. This happened very close to where I live in India, where my family lives in India. So heartbroken.
Mostly when you guys go to India, you guys use that airport, huh?
Oh yes,
For
I've
international.
been in and out of Ahmedabad airport at least 10 times.
Yeah.
Even domestically, I've taken planes from Ahmedabad.
I have never been there.
You've never been to Ahmedabad?
No, because
You're right. Yeah.
we did Vadodara
Yeah.
to Delhi.
We landed at Vadodara, Delhi, London, and San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, but devastated. I hope we get some answers from investigating agencies and
Soon.
soon. And based on what we find out, we, of course, make whatever changes we have to make, improve the design or improve fuel quality, whatever we have to do. I think that should be done immediately. Um and to people who've lost their loved ones in this incident, my heart goes out to you guys, and I hope you guys recover from this and come
And
back
get some
strong.
justice.
Yep, and get some justice. I know Air India announced what, 1 crore rupees.
Not Air India. That rich guy.
Which rich guy?
Um, who had the son's wedding 5 or 10 times last year.
Mukesh Ambani?
Yeah.
No, Air India, I mean Tata Group.
Even Mukesh Ambani gave like 1 crore to all the family that was affected.
Is it?
Yeah.
That I'm not aware. I know Tata Group is going to give 1 crore to every family. I didn't know Reliance was also good. Hey, Chad, do you guys know? My wife just told me even Mukesh Ambani is giving 1 CR to everybody everybody's families who lost lives in this accident. I'm not very sure of that. I'm sure the government will do something besides the airline. You are Googling it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys, stand by. We are Googling it.
You can
Okay.
keep
What do,
talking.
what do we have? Okay, hold on. Let me get my Google. But how crazy is that? One survivor from this.
Yeah, he might be some lucky.
I mean, he has to be really, really lucky. I think it was meant to be, yeah. Destiny wanted him to live and he survived. It's unbelievable that somebody could survive that kind of crash. And especially that early in the flight is filled up with huge amounts of fuel. The guy is sitting at seat 11A, which is close to the emergency exit, of course, but of course close to the wings as well, which means that he was so close to fuel. It's unbelievable how he managed to survive the crash and the fires that happened after the crash. I he has to be the luckiest person alive, I guess. I cannot imagine myself surviving something like that. And if you guys have seen the video, if you saw the fireball that immediately went high up as soon as the plane crashed, that was crazy. Hold on. Okay, we have some information here, it seems.
No.
Okay, we don't. Okay, guys, so that was a hoax. That wasn't real. So it's
It.
just.
I read somewhere.
Did you read it on fakenews.com?
I don't know.
Okay,
Next time,
guys.
if I did something like that, I'll just send it to you.
Okay, so fakenews.com says Mukesh Ambani is also giving 1 crore to all the families that have lost their loved ones in the airplane crash that happened in Ahmedabad. To me, hold on, I need some water. I'm not familiar with that. Okay, she's still looking. She's given up yet. Hmm. I'm reading an article right now that says initial reports suggest that aircraft's landing gear may not have been retracted during takeoff. That is obvious. We saw it in the videos. The landing gear was out until the very end, causing significant drag and preventing the plane from gaining altitude. Uh, I don't think this is a factor here. I think, of course, the pilots weren't idiots. I think they weren't able to do it. If they lost hydraulics or if they lost all power, they may have made attempts to pull the landing gear up and they weren't able to. That's what I think. I don't think they just forgot to take the landing gear up. That is beyond me. It's pretty much unbelievable at the moment to me, and I may be wrong. And if you guys think otherwise, let me know. Safety measures, it says. Okay, DGCA is now going to investigate and inspect all of the Boeing 787s that other airlines are using within India. But that's still unbelievable to me that something like this happened in Ahmedabad, which is like so close to where I live. I live in Vadodara. I used to live in Vadodara. Now, of course, I'm in the US. Um, but a lot of people died, including Vijay Rupani, who was the chief minister of Gujarat at one point. I don't know who else died. Do you know any other celebrities that were on the airplane? I know there were some big names flashing in the news the other day when I was watching. There were some other big names as well besides Vijay Rupani that died in that plane crash. But terrible, terrible thing. And I hope we investigate this incident well, uh, get our findings from the investigation that is done, and implement whatever safety changes that should be implemented on all air travel.
All these news are saying that he did all these different things, but
Mm.
I cannot find the 1 crore wala news.
Okay.
But he provided the first aid and all those stuff,
Okay, that's good. At least.
and Reliance is supporting him so many things.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, you wanna listen the interview from the survivor?
Iron survivor of Ahmedabad plane crash. I think I heard this. Do you guys want to hear what the survivor said?
Yes, a bit, but I will try to come out. Yeah,
Yes,
that's all.
please.
Did the aircraft catch fire before you came out? Yes, little bit fire. After me, I'm out, then blast. So, did anybody help you, or you after that you came out on your own? How did you jump from the aircraft? I'm not jumping. Okay. I just walk out, innit? Okay. Then ambulance coming in. You did walk out on the building, or how? No, no, in floor. On floor. Yes.
Oh.
Inside the airplane. Only the airplane. Yeah. So, and you managed to get into the ambulance there? What did Prime Minister tell you? What was the conversation? He's just asking me everything is okay. That's it. You're feeling better now? Yes. And where your family? Where's your family? Everybody's in London. Okay. The whole family is in London. Yes. Me and my brother staying in India.
Soul survivor.
Maybe
Lucky guy.
I don't know how will he go
Yeah.
to London. I would be so terrified.
I mean, looking at him, I see some
How
cuts
do you
and.
feel that
Hold
you
on, let me.
survived this?
Yeah, I see some cuts and bruises on him, but I do not see any broken bones or broken ribs, or
Right?
yeah, I
It's
see.
just so
Yep,
just miracle.
I see his hand swinging and he's sitting properly, which means he hasn't lost his spinal cord or his hips or his arms or anything.
Did you show them how did the plane go?
Yeah, I think everybody at this point has seen this video. Everybody, everybody who has internet has seen that video by now, I think. So I didn't show them that. But a very sad incident, tragic, heartbreaking, and
This
I
was
hope
inside?
it never happens again. हवाई जहाज गिरने से पहले की video. Yeah, this seems to be inside, but I don't know if this is real or not.
How did this video come out? No.
Yeah, that's the thing. How did it come out? That's another question. But thank you everybody for joining this live. We'll come back again. I don't know when, but we will be back again with another live and another conversation. Until then, see you everyone. You guys have a good day or good evening or good night, depending on where you are. And we'll see you later. Bye.
Oh, this is the one. Oh, you ended it.